Just when I thought I was out, they pull me back in. Quotable. Is it Michael Corleone or the guy from The Sopranos? Jack Toledano. All or none, according to Jack.
It says it.
Yeah,
It says Michael Corleone.
I know, but I'm also quoting the guy from The Sopranos.
Him quoting
Yeah,
the other guy.
yeah,
Quote within a quote.
yeah. Silvio Dante. That's his name. Jack Toledano. All or none, according to Jack. My very special guest, Mr. Jason Toledano. He's been on a few of my little cameos in the past of my on vacation or on location videos, but never in official capacity on a video. So hi Jay.
Yeah, something or nothing, according to Jason.
Yeah,
The opposite. Everything you say today, I'll say the opposite.
there you go.
We're actually in my childhood bedroom right now.
We
You
are.
see my shitty artwork
Yeah.
when I was like 6 up here. The printer you gave me when I was 2 years old. That was really nice of you. We're chilling.
Actually, no, Jason gave us that printer, but it sat in the box for like 3 years. We didn't know how to use it.
We have to be politically correct. That printer came from the stork.
Okay. Anywho,
It's gonna be fun.
so Jason and I, what we do is when we go on, everybody knows I have a second place upstate, and sometimes Jason and I will drive up together, and we'll just talk music. We'll talk about all different ideas, all different genres. And one of the ideas that came up was this idea that we would have an episode about our desert island discs. So what we're going to do today is we're going to talk about our top 10 desert island discs or CDs that we would bring to a desert island if we got stranded there, like Tom Hanks or whomever.
Yeah.
So
we'll do our top 10 volleyballs as the next video, but albums for this one. I do want to say though about my list that I was considering the concept of the desert island, and I did want to have a little bit of diversity. So these aren't like my top 10 favorite albums of all time, but it's like if I only had 10 I could choose from, these would be the ones.
Okay.
Here's my approach.
All right. Well, I think everybody's gonna once they hear mine, they're gonna say, "Oh yeah, I knew that. And I'm familiar with that." But what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have Jason do 5, then I'm gonna do 5, then Jason's gonna do his remaining 5. I'll do my remaining 5, and we'll talk about any honorable mentions. But mine are in no particular order. I randomized them. So, but go ahead, Jay.
So you want to take it like one by one? I'll say it, and then we'll
talk. Well, what you can do is give me your 5.
Yeah.
And talk about them if you want. Why you chose them and what you like about them, and so on and so forth. So
yeah. So some of these were actually albums that I discovered doing this. I try to listen to a new album every day. I did like 380 last year. I'm close to 300 this year. And so
talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, I'll listen to probably 7 albums a week. So I'll skip a couple of days. I'll do 3 on a Saturday. If I'm doing a long drive, I'll listen to like 4.
But basically what Jason does is he listens to an album every day of the entire year to, all different genres, and, some that I've recommended, some that he's picked off, Spotify or wherever else, or friends recommended.
Yeah, just like trying to like listen to either really famous people that I never paid attention to that I feel like I owe them the respect to listen to it, to say I'm a music appreciator. I had to have listened to like a David Bowie or something, right? Because I hadn't before I did this. But yeah, found some really, really amazing music and new genres this way. So the first 5 I've got Laughing Stock by Talk Talk, which we spoke about quite a bit. Hail to the Thief by Radiohead. Blue Rev by Always.
Okay.
I don't know. I might have played that for you. It's
that might never heard of.
A little slow. It's like a little more melancholy for your taste, I think.
Right.
Actor by Saint Vincent, and Acid Rap by Chance the Rapper.
Chance the Rapper.
Yeah. So, I mean, those all have a different like place for me emotionally. They mean different things to me. The Talk Talk album, you knew like I discovered them through doing this and listened to almost all their albums. They've got five. This was the last one of theirs. It was it's kind of like a genre defining type of sound in the way that like sometimes when an innovative artist comes out with a sound, they're not intending on creating like a genre, right? Like music critics will create a genre by how they refer to it. So I think it was one of the first to be called like post rock, so using like rock elements, rock guitars to make a non-traditional rock sound. So it's a very atmospheric, it's a very like open concept, like they have songs that sound like traditional songs, but
Right.
it's only a 6 song album. And
Interesting.
for me, it's I listen to it a lot when I'm like in transit. It's a good like turn your mind off because you can't really go with the rhythm of it at some points of the album. It has one song that's in 5/4, which I usually love songs in five or in 7 or 10. um it's just
What
a
do you mean
really
in time
in the
signature?
time signature, yeah. It's a really it's a real change of pace for like a traditional music listen that I've always just found really somber, and put me in a really good like pensive mood. So I'll listen to it a lot when I'm taking like the train. If I just need a classic album that I really know I'll like.
All right.
Hail to the Thief. I'm a big Radiohead fan, and this is not my it's not my favorite Radiohead album as far as like them crafting an album, but it has always had like the most of my favorite Radiohead songs. I think like Kid A or OK Computers to me is probably like their more complete album concepts. But this one is just I've probably listened to this album more than I've listened to most albums.
I mean, how would you classify their genre?
Radiohead,
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on like every album is different from theirs. There's a couple that are pretty similar, but like their first album and the last one that they put out are just like so far apart from each other. Because after OK Computer, the third album, there's a real like tension with the band about the direction that they're going to go in. And
Mm.
Kid A came this like electronic rock, like kind of experimental thing that really like molded their sound. And I think that Hail to the Thief was their first like kind of complete. They were going back to a more traditional rock sound and just came out with a bunch of incredible songs.
All right.
Always, Blue Rev came out in 2022, so it's a very recent album. And I had already really liked that band. They're more like for a genre, they're like dream pop, jangle pop, indie rock. It's a very like you know you don't know because I haven't said it yet. It's a really soothing album. It's very atmospheric. There's synths. It's like the orchestra of it all, like the way that it's mixed is just it's an incredible mood. And it has some really incredible songs. And yeah, I don't know how much I could speak to that band's like history. They're pretty new. Their first album was in 2014. They've only put out three.
Okay.
But definitely one of my favorites. I saw them recently. Saint Vincent, top 5 artists for me. She's incredible. So Annie Clark, indie rock. I think her first album was like 2007 or something. Um, and this album is just like another one that really sounds like nothing else. I I don't know if you'd like it, but I've always when I've described it to people, I've described it as like a mom from a Disney movie murders her whole family. For some reason, is because there's like a sinister quality to the mixing of it all, the way it all actually
Right.
sounds. But it is all of the instrumentation is actually very like playful in nature. There's really like lighthearted, like I don't even know like the names of the instruments that are on it, but it's really well crafted and also probably my second most listened to album of all time. And then Acid Rap, like I was not even sure if I was going to put this on the list. That's just like you know it's kind of when it came out, it was like ubiquitously known for people who liked more like backpack rap,
Mhm.
is what they call like rap that's not as like it's usually I think it comes from the term like white kids listen to it, like white kids walking to school with their backpacks or whatever,
Oh,
um and probably be offensive to Chance the Rapper for me to say that, but It's just always been like a real hit, and it's a real classic, at least for like me growing up and liking rap. I think a lot of people would say that's like a top 10 rap album for them if they're 28.
Okay,
So that's my first five.
okay, all right. So,
Hold on, any in there that you had anticipated?
well, Chance the Rapper. I knew that you'd have something by Radiohead.
Yeah.
Talk Talk. Now that I didn't think about it, but you had mentioned them,
Mhm.
so I was actually surprised because the only Talk Talk I knew back in the '80s was a song Talk Talk on the album Talk Talk by the band Talk Talk.
Yeah, yeah. That's a funny moment when that happens.
I know.
They also have that
And
song "It's My Life" that like no doubt Gwen Stefani
oh,
made famous, and then everybody's like, "Oh, that's where it's
interesting.
that's where it comes from."
Okay,
Yeah, it was a big song. They used to be played at like the roller rink when I was a kid. That
interesting.
no doubt cover.
Okay, so there's definitely going to be some parity between our genres. So mine, I think most people know what I like, but these are albums that I chose, and the first one is a 7 song album uh, by Deep Purple, Machine Head. So I know it's cliche, the song "Smoke on the Water," the most famous riff of all time, but it's the other songs on the album that I really like. The song after it, "Lazy," with John Lord starting out with that amazing uh, Hammond organ solo. You have to hear it to really appreciate it, and
You talk about the Hammond organ all the time. It's like your favorite instrument, your
it
favorite
is
sound.
the way this guy plays it. I mean, he doesn't just play it like he's in church. He plays it through a Marshall stack
Yeah,
to get that heavy
that's a
sound.
good.
So
That's interesting.
as opposed to bands that have the twin lead guitar attack. Instead, you have him playing off of Richie Blackmore's um, what is it, Fender Stratocaster. So, but an amazing sound that he crafted. But the song "Lazy," Space Truckin', which anything about
Classic.
space was very famous. So they wanted a song with the word space in it, but of course, Ian Gillan crafted those lyrics. Pictures of Home, Highway Star, uh, even Never Before. Maybe I'm a Leo. Couple of their really deep tracks that I still love them. So,
I of course love the hits, but I've never listened to the album.
oh, great album. Hey, add that to your list.
I have In Rock on my list. You told me to listen to that one.
Yes, so I was debating whether to do In Rock or Machine Head, but I mean that song "Lazy" and "Never Before" and maybe I'm a Leo and what's it, "Pictures of Home." Those songs are to die for. So henceforth, okay, my second. Now I just did an episode recently, so I started this new series called "Reviewing the Reviewer," and this was in there. Iron Maiden, Number of the Beast, 1982. So, it's funny how on SOT the other day they were talking about, new music, and everybody had to start somewhere. Where I started with Iron Maiden is I had this friend who would bring this shoebox tape recorder into school every day, and he'd play these songs that he recorded on his cassettes, and that's how I got introduced to Iron Maiden. And when the third album, Number of the Beast, came out, they had a new singer, amazing singer, Bruce Dickinson, and I just fell in love with all those songs. We actually talked about one of those songs on the way to dinner tonight, 22 Acacia Avenue. Uh, the
You
prison.
talked about it.
I talked about it, yeah. The Prisoner, Number of the Beast, Hallowed Be Thy Name, uh, Run to the Hills. Great fucking album.
Yeah, Run to the Hills is a great song.
Yep. You see, I knew you knew some of it.
You used to wake me up with this music when I
Run
would sleep
to
too late.
the hills. But
Yeah,
not
see, if you sang it, then I definitely would have woken up.
All right, number 3. So I had to get a little creative and put a live album in this mix.
Can I guess? Is
Yeah.
it Kiss Alive?
It is Kiss
Okay.
Alive, yes. So when I was a Kiss fan, way back in the 70s, I started by buying the albums after Kiss Alive. So I bought Rock and Roll Over. Then my mother bought me Destroyer for Hanukkah one year. Then I bought Kiss Alive 2, and then I bought Love Gun. I was not familiar with any of the early Kiss, so my parents took pity on my brother and bought him Kiss Alive. And I heard that, and I'm like, wow, I never heard these songs before, but these were really rocking tunes. This is before this is before I think Kiss sold out. I mean, this was like good old timey rock and roll. You know, Watching You, Let Me Go Rock and Roll, Do Strutter, uh, Hotter Than Hell. You know, I'm not going to name the whole album, but the reason I think so, everybody knows that the first three albums didn't sell very well, and they were almost on the balls of their ass. They were in dire straits, and their fledgling record label Casablanca was going to go under. So this was like a last roll of the dice that let's put out a live album. And basically the way the fan and they were known for having a great live show. And for the fans, this was almost like having a live keepsake of them. So it immediately went gold. Then it went platinum a couple months later, and that's how they made it. And they basically saved Casablanca Records, so then they could, uh, you know, bring on these other bands like, or artists like Donna Summer and Funkadelic and whoever else.
Yeah.
Yeah, diversify. But
Good stuff though.
yeah,
Your parents though, because your parents bought a copy, so
yeah,
they're part of the reason.
yep. But then I bought the DVD, no, the CD years later, or the double CD, as it were.
What about that story of when I got the was it the Ace Frehley doll that we bought that like the doll was like this size, right? We
Yeah.
bought it at some like antique show or whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a keepsake because people would buy like Kiss dolls and like hang it up and whatever. And I was so yeah, I was like maybe 9 or something. That I in my mind I'm like, well, why would you keep it? You play with it. And then we took home and I immediately opened it up and you're like, what are you doing? You're supposed to save this. And I'm like, I want to play with it. We just got this toy. And you're like, you don't play with the Kiss toy. Do you remember that now?
Well, yeah. So basically, yeah. So years ago, kids would actually play with their toys. Now they're collectibles. You're not supposed to open them now, but
Yeah.
whatever. It's all in good fun. To my number 4, this I don't know if Jason will get this one, but there's this band that I like that sounds a lot like Judas Priest. I call them a German Judas Priest.
Can I guess?
Yes,
Okay. Is it Primal Fear?
it is Primal
Okay.
Fear. You're not going to guess the album. It is actually their 9th album, Unbreakable. So, and this is another discussion that I'm going to have. In time, I'm going to expand on Pete Pardo's episode of Sea of Tranquility, where they talk about new music. And he talks about how he wants to hear other bands that sound like Black Sabbath because he loves that style, that genre. And that's why I like Primal Fear, because Judas Priest only puts out so many albums every couple of years. I want to hear more of that. Primal Fear gave that to me. And with their first 4 albums, they were phenomenal. Then they hit something of a little bit of a rut in their next 4 albums, albums 5 to 8. They weren't bad, but they were just okay. But then their 9th album, Unbreakable, in 2012, I believe, they just killed it. I'm like, yes, these guys are back. Songs like Strike and Metal Nation, the title track Unbreakable, great album. Check it out if you haven't. To my number 5. So people that know me know that I have 3 favorite bands. One is Kiss, one is Judas Priest, the other one is
Shit. Can I curse on this thing?
yeah.
Okay, shit. Kiss, Judas Priest, Goddamn. Jethro Tull.
There you go. Songs from the Wood. They their albums from the 70s are to die for. And one of my favorite albums is Stand Up, but this one, I think I picked Songs from the Wood because it's from 1977. Around the time I started to get into them, and they actually got this album, some of the songs on this album actually got some airplay on the then station WPLJ, which is shit now. Oh, awful. But in any event, they this was the beginning of their three albums that they did like more of a Celtic folk theme. Uh, and a lot of these songs are about living in the countryside of Ian Anderson had bought a home in the countryside of England around that time. So these songs kind of focused more around that, farming and living the bucolic country lifestyle. So songs from the wood. There's a song named after me, Jack in the Green. What else? Hunting Girl. What's the other? Velvet Green, which I love. The Whistler, which he honored me by playing that song on stage one time in the mid 90s, which I thought was really cool. So that's my first five.
All right.
Back to you, Jay.
So I'll do what you did for those first five, and I'll go one by one. It feels a little bit more organic than the list. And so this first one is a rock group from the 80s going into the 90s. Big influence on Nirvana. I've definitely talked about them a lot. We've definitely listened together. I'm gonna see if you can guess it, but it's not Weezer because they're later than that, because that's another one of those bands that I played way too much.
Chili Peppers?
No,
Okay.
no, not I. Okay, so what's another band that I it's like kind of more obscure. I'm not sure if you can guess, but like I went through a phase where I was listening to them a lot. I would put them on, you'd be like, oh, it's this band.
No, I'm drawing a blank.
Yes, the Pixies. Do you remember? Do you remember the Pixies?
I've heard the name.
Yeah.
I've never really heard their music.
Yeah. So this is Doolittle.
Mm.
I think it's from 88 or 89. It's the album after Surfer Rosa. Surfer Rosa to a lot of people is like I think that was Kurt Cobain's like #2 album of all time or something. They're also, I'm realizing a lot of these bands, I like them because I feel like they have a unique sound, or they have some sort of like niche that you kind of can't get anywhere else. There's a certain style that I think his name is Frank Black or Black Francis. He's had like 4 different names he's called himself over his whole career. But he has this really, like, all of the songs are like most of the songs are pretty poppy, but they take on an interesting, like, they're in 4/4, but they go by 3 chords sometimes. So it's like and then it makes you feel really like out of place when you're listening to it, because there's this discrepancy between the amount of chords being played and the amount of sort of measures in the bar. I don't know if I'm even using the right word, but
no, it
the structure
the
structure of the song was definitely unique. A lot of people will say their style was more associated with like loud, soft, loud. There's a song called Tame on the album that was really popular, which is like the verses are really like, and then the chorus is like, God damn, like, so it, and he also just like as a performer, incredibly just like he gives himself, like, he's not a particularly amazing singer, but like there's a character to his voice that is really like undeniable. There was also, I was watching a documentary on them. They would say that they would never, they were like one of the only bands during the time that would never like end a song and then do like a like, they were always about it, like just for the music, making like a good sound, getting in there and getting out. I think everybody in the band is incredible at their role. Joey Santiago is one of my favorite guitar players, not because he's like particularly skilled. He just like what he provides in terms of like texture and fitting into, and I've used this word before in this recording, but like the orchestra of it, like in the soundscape. He's not technically amazing with what he's doing, but what he provides is like such a great set. So I mean, I would recommend it. I love it. Bossa Nova is also an incredible album. Doolittle, gotta have it. Next one, To Pimp a Butterfly by Kendrick Lamar. So I try to get you to listen to a Kendrick Lamar album. Not a big fan of rap, but this album,
Who, you or me?
you.
Well, you know I'm not.
That's what I'm saying. That's why you didn't listen to it. But it's an incredible album, incredible concept that's deployed within the album. Um, there's a spoken word poem that begins leading into a song that often tees up what the song is about to be about. And then after a song ends, maybe two songs will go by, he'll start the poem again. And as the album goes on, the poem continues, but each aspect of the poem seems to lead into the theme of the story. It's a very cinematic experience. This album, it really tells a story. I'm pretty sure there's like college classes that have been taught, or like this has been included in the curriculum. It's an incredible album. I'm pretty sure it won multiple Grammys. It had to have. It's like a staple. It's got to be in like. It's probably already registered in the Library of Congress. It's like that much of a.
And what's the album called?
To Pimp a Butterfly.
To Pimp a Butterfly.
And the concept that I've gotten from the album is like it's about like the music industry, staying true to yourself, not selling out, among other things, but the idea of being like the butterfly, the beautiful thing that is about you, but then to like sell it, right? To pimp it. And like, do you taint the quality of it? There's obviously a lot of themes that are going. It's a very complex album, but it's an incredibly emotional experience for me, and I love it. The next one, one of my favorite bands. We saw one of the guys from it together. Who is it?
Robert.
No.
Oh shit! What's his name?
You said it earlier.
I know.
It's definitely one of my favorite bands. I talk about them a lot.
Oh shit! Drawing a blank. I know. I
kick yourself when I say
I passed that comment, but let's establish his name.
Stephen Malkmus.
Steve Malkmus. Yes.
Yeah.
And the Jigs. Yeah.
Yeah. So Pavement is the band.
Right.
After Pavement, he put out like 6 or 7 albums with them, maybe more. But they're also incredible. Like people who are Pavement band fans would probably say like they were innovators of their sounds. Like I think when they were out in the 90s, there was a whole like slacker culture that I don't know nothing about because I was drinking formula from a bottle at that time. And getting this printer from you.
Yeah.
A little callback. But I chose Wowie Zowie because it's kind of like the Radiohead one. Not the greatest like album that they've constructed. And I don't think they set out to construct an album experience. They just write some fucking good tunes and put them together. But some incredible songs on this one. Just love it. I've got the vinyl up on my wall in my room.
Oh, that's cool. Just before you go on, so the reason I was chuckling is so yes, Jason invited me to go see Steve Malkmus and the Jigs at a place called Brooklyn Steel in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, which was, I thought, an absolutely amazing venue.
Great venue.
Basically, they took an old warehouse and they turned it into this music venue, and the acoustics were just to die for. So it was a pretty packed house. I'd say it fits 1,000, 1,500. So we're there, and so the main band comes on, and I look at the band and I say, oh, there's a female bassist,
and just the eye rolls.
And Jason tells me that after the fact that these two ladies that were standing next to us, couple that made these eye rolls because, of course, I'm being you're
from a different school.
I know. I'm being what's that term? I'm being chauvinistic. And I'm thinking of the Talking Heads where they have a female bass player. So that was the first thing that came to mind. But
yep,
it was funny.
Pixies also very famous bass player, Kim Deal.
Female?
Yes.
Ooh, female bass player.
Here, let's do it again. Let's invite the whole family in here so we can all roll our eyes.
Yeah.
The 9th album I've got you don't know this person at all. Earl Sweatshirt, Some Rap Songs. Not one of my top 10 albums if I were to choose the top 10, but it is a kind of it's just such a depressing album. Like the production, the beats are very depressing. Earl Sweatshirt is incredibly lyrical. Um, like it's like his lyrics are just so densely packed with ideas that it's really incredible
Right.
to listen to him. You can listen to him 100 times and hear new things. But it's another feeling that just gives me a pretty intense emotion when I listen to it. So I would want to have some deep melancholy if I were on an album
So
just to
that's what
go
now?
through all that.
3 rappers? I
That's
thought you were gonna only give us 1 rapper.
I didn't say that. I
Okay.
was saying I was gonna try to
Oh, okay.
do a different gambit. But I mean, I listen to there's a lot of artists that I love of
Yeah.
many genres that are not on
Right.
this. And the last one that I've got is pretty simple. It's Kate LeBon, another album that I found during this whole like new album thing. I just like listened to it, couldn't stop listening to it for like a full month straight. It's called Pompeii. You wouldn't like it.
What
It's very drony.
mm,
It's I
what kind of
keep using this
music
word
would you say?
atmospheric. I mean, it's like it's indie rock, but
Okay.
there's a lot of like synth background, but it is like a rock band in its
Right.
structure. Um, yeah, excited for the honorable mentions.
Okay. We'll get to them. Okay, so some of these you may know of my 5, some of them you may not. This one you will definitely know because you recently listened to it in your album a days.
The band?
Yes, you listen to them.
Yeah.
You listen to this band in your one a day listening albums.
Which one?
Who's next?
Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
Who. Yes.
I listened to it on a plane.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's great. For the
Yeah.
people at home, the 28-year-old says the album that you've loved for years is great. Validated.
Yes. What songs do you like the best on that
I
album?
mean, I didn't. I mean, obviously, Bargain
Yeah, Bargain's great.
is incredible.
Uh,
It's like got to be like I forgot that I like that song so much. It is just an unreal rock tune.
One of my favorites is a Pete Townsend sung song. The song is Over. Love that song. Of course, I love Bargain, like you mentioned. Uh, what's the last one? Oh shit, I'm drawing a blank. Uh, oh man, the last song on the album.
Fucking
Yeah, it's an 8-minute song. Where he says, "Meet the new boss, same as the old." Oh, won't get fooled again. Yes,
Yeah.
but
You know,
uh,
Bargain, I read about Bargain. Apparently, it's about God.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
interesting. But I quote that term all the time. Meet the new boss, same as the old boss, because it's like the more things change, the more things stay the same.
Yeah.
I even love the John Entwistle tune, "My Wife." Sometimes, when I'm not getting along with my wife, I think of that
That's for
song.
you, Susie.
Yeah.
Susan.
Yep. We're sitting in her workspace.
Yeah,
We
my
better not.
childhood bedroom.
We better not fuck it up.
Yeah. I take that moment to smash the printer like it's a
Yeah.
guitar on stage,
Oh,
light it on
George will
fire.
hate her for that. Okay, so in any event, my next, you may not get this one. Van Halen 1.
Yeah, it's a great album.
I don't know if you would have known that it would have been in my list. And you know what? I put my list together and I said to myself, how could that not be in there?
Wait, one or is it a self-titled?
No, it's a self-titled album, but everybody calls it Van Halen 1.
Yeah. Yeah, I
It's
mean, Running with the Devil to
yeah,
me is like that song is when you finally get on the highway and there's no
yeah,
cars on the highway and you're like, I'm
yeah.
gonna drive 30 miles over the speed limit.
But
Blast that song.
I love the Ain't Talking About Love, Atomic Punk. Uh, he does some little guitar effects there, Eruption, which is
Yeah,
like
incredible.
nothing I've ever heard on guitar.
Eruption's insane.
I mean, there were others that did what they call the hammers, where he's hammering, but he's the one who made it famous. What ain't talk? No, I said ain't talking about love. Feel your love tonight. Great chorus. Feel your love tonight.
Is that their cover on the You Really
No,
Got Me? Is that another album?
you really got me is on that album. Yes. What else? Jamie's Crying, On Fire, Ice Cream Man.
That's an example of a song where like the cover is better than the original.
Yeah, yes.
Like Landslide by the Dixie Chicks. I don't know.
Interesting.
That's my opinion. I'm not a big Fleetwood Mac fan.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's funny. I just did an episode on Fleetwood Mac.
You can do an episode where the covers are better than the original song. That's an idea.
I think.
Give me the executive producer credit.
I think Sea of Tranquility may have done it already.
Oh,
But
we're on
I
to
try
the-
to come up with my own ideas every once in a while. But okay, so my next, I don't know if you know this band. This is more of like a German AC/DC, except album Blood of the Nations. So they had two lead singers of note. First one is a guy named Udo. He left the band after I think was the early 90s. So then they had not existed for a long time, but then all of a sudden, I think was Wolf Hoffman, the one guitar player, they got together. They brought in this new singer, Mark Tornillo, and you know what? They really liked the sound, so they put an album together. It really kicked ass. This is probably my number one album would have to be in there. Teutonic Terror, Beat the Bastards. Anytime people talked about COVID-19 and the pandemic, I thought of that song. It's a pandemic. Yeah, great. I can't think of the lyrics right now, but amazing album.
You're not gonna sing the album cover to cover for us right now.
I can't, well, because I have this pad, I don't have all my notes, and I do need notes from time to time.
No, you're good.
Because I'm a forgetful person, but check it out. You will not be disappointed.
I did know that band because you bring them up.
Yes. This next band, you saw them with me a few times.
I saw Kiss with you a few times.
Who else did you see with me? 2005.
Was it Judas Priest?
It was Judas Priest.
Yeah, of course. Okay, hold on. What album is it? Is it British Steel?
Nope.
Is it Hellbent for Leather?
Nope.
Is it one of their newer ones?
Nope.
Okay, so it's fuck, it's not Sin After Sin. It's Stained Glass. Stained Class.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Long ago when man was king. Great album. Great album.
Yeah, Beyond the Realms of Death, huh?
Yeah. The most beautiful guitar solo of all time. That great example of Glenn and KK trading back and forth with the solos.
Isn't Exciter like one of your favorite Judas Priest songs?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That album is filled with gems. So side two, first song of side two, what is that song? Oh, Saints in Hell.
Oh yeah, I think that's my favorite song off the album.
Did you know?
It's my Rob Halford impression.
Did you know that in 2018 I went and saw them on the Firepower tour? They brought that song back and they played it on stage.
You love that. You love when they bring back a classic.
They never
play.
They had never ever played that song, but they brought it back and they played it.
That's beautiful.
The first leg of that tour, which I went to, I was like, seventh heaven. Always good for an old gem. Savage, KK Downing written song. God bless. Where they talk.
I'm allergic to KK Downing.
Oh yeah, well, that's another album you could listen to. His new KK's Priest.
No, I'm fine.
He's got Tim Ripper Owens as his vocalist.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. Good shit, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Metal Meltdown, right? That's Tim Ripper Owens.
That is, yeah. Okay. Oh no, that's Halford.
Oh shit, yeah, because that's off Painkiller.
Right. Okay, so my very
See, I know metal, okay?
Even though you've been corrupted with that rap.
That's great music.
Okay, so I have one more. Who do you think? Who
have you
other
not mentioned?
Yes, who have I not mentioned?
Dolly Parton.
Symphony X.
Oh shit. Yeah, that's obvious. So much you driving me to baseball games nonstop. Symphony X.
Yes, and you've definitely heard this album numerous times. Symphony X V or 5, the New Mythology Suite, where basically the album is one song after another. All the songs are connected. They talk about the lost city of Atlantis. They talk about Egypt and this killer
Whale.
guitar solo by Michael Romeo. Then they have this 13-minute song called Rediscovery, which originally was the title track of their prior album, Twilight Olympics, but they decided they scrapped having a title track for Twilight in Olympus, and instead they took fragments of that song and put them on the next album, and most of that ends up in the song Rediscovery. But great album. It's a little less heavier than some of their other albums, but it is heavy in spots, but it's more proggy. I think you would definitely like it. Some amazing keyboard playing by Michael Pinella.
No Hammond organ though.
No, not too much Hammond organ. He doesn't play the Hammond organ that often.
Then I'm out.
Yeah. But
There would be times where I would tell you to listen to an album, you'd be like, "Is there a Hammond organ in it?"
I'm just messing with you. So that's my 10.
You want to do your honorable mentions first?
You want me to go?
Yeah.
Yeah,
flip it.
I could. Okay, so for the honorable mentions, I'm just going to kind of talk about them quickly. I'm not going to go into much discussion. So, one, I'm sad that I had to leave this off. On the Border by the Eagles. The Eagles were in a transition period, so they were going from country rock, and certain members of the band, like Glenn Frey in particular, wanted to be more of a rock band. They wanted to be more of an album oriented rock band. I mean, they got there with Hotel California, so this was one of the transitional albums where they had songs like the title track On the Border, which I love. Already Gone, a breakup song. James Dean, another great song. Meanwhile, they had a song which is more Kentucky bluegrass, the song Midnight Flyer. Then they had their ballad at the very end, which I'm a little less crazy about. Best of My Love. So that's Eagles. Fleetwood Mac Rumors. That's the first album I ever bought.
Classic.
Chock full of hits. Rush, Moving Pictures. I love a lot of Rush's albums, but that to me, I don't care for Tom Sawyer, but the rest of the album is killer. Everything else, even the deep tracks. Here's one that might surprise you folks. This album came out this year. I've really gotten into Uriah Heep of late, and this is another album that Jason has to put on his list. Chaos and Color. Yeah, I saw that. Amazing album, folks. I'm not going to do a top albums of 2023, but it's going to be on a lot of other people's list of top albums. You mark my words.
And maybe it'll be in the Library of Congress.
Maybe. You know what? It's that damn fucking good. I think it could be. When you can play that good in 2023 as good as you played in 1970.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a case study for like eating
Yeah.
vitamins and not smoking so you can preserve your chops for longer.
His analogies, I mean. Okay, got 3 more.
All right.
Black Sabbath, Heaven and Hell. Probably my favorite Black Sabbath album, and Ronnie James Dio is the lead singer. Yep.
Not a big Ozzy fan, right? Sorry.
No. I mean, that's not to say I love some of his songs, but this album was the top of my Sabbath list.
Yeah. His TV show is incredible.
Really?
I'm kidding.
You can't understand what the guy says. It's like, fuck, shit.
Yeah, he's the opposite of Uriah Heep.
Okay, Hammerfall, Legacy of Kings, their second album. I fell in love with them basically when I drop the needle down, within 10 seconds, I'm like, I love this band. They're great. Great vocals. Joaquin Cam's his name. Uh, Great songs. One more live album. Uh, Iced Earth had a 3-disc album called Alive in Athens, where they did 2 completely different sold out shows in Athens. And they took all these 2 different set lists on 2 different shows, and they basically put this together into a 3-disc set, and it was basically a greatest hits live from that period of time. So good shit.
All right.
There you have it.
Well, I've got Red Hot Chili Peppers, which you guess would be on here at fucking what's it called? Why am I forgetting the name? Californication. I used to listen to this album in calculus in college, and because it was the exact amount of time it took for me to start the class and then end up in my dorm room after the class had ended. So
you would listen
this
to it.
album plus the B-sides, yeah, I would put the headphones on behind my ear, and the teacher never looked into the classroom. So every class, I just listened to it, and I knew, like, oh, we're at road tripping. Like, class is almost over. Like, depending on where we were at in the album. But Red Hot Chili Peppers, saw them live, loved them in high school. Yeah, gotta have them. Tyler, the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost, Call Me When You Get Lost, came out. Another one came out in 2021, recent album, but absolutely incredible. Car Seat Headrest, Teens of Denial. I brought them up too. Yeah, everybody makes fun of the name. They're incredible. Another one where they're the songs that they write couldn't be written by somebody else. Will Toledo, last name, is like ours.
Right.
Very, very unique songwriter, absolutely incredible. Seychelles by Yoshi Takanaka.
Say that 5 times fast.
Well, he's an incredible guitar player from Japan, within the like Japanese city pop genre, which is basically like jazz fusion in the 70s, 80s. I don't remember the actual time. I'm pretty sure he's this album came out in like 74 or something, but I'm a guitar player, love to throw this on, just play along with it. Incredibly good, like jazz fusion, good vibe. Everybody's here to have fun. Amazing album. Tropical Fuckstorm, A Laughing Death in Meat Space. Another one I found through this project, found at the beginning of this year. Another one, absolutely incredible, very unique song structure, very noisy, very like I feel like the guitar work is minimalistic in it, but it really like the crunch of the guitar tones like really do something. I don't know. This is the highlights. I didn't have to take notes on this part. The honorable mentions. Deerhoof. You remember them? I brought them up a lot.
Deerhoof.
The Magic. Every time I listen to any Deerhoof song, it makes me want to write music because they also just such a unique approach. I was listening to an interview of their drummer, and he was saying like the way they write songs is like they just don't want to be embarrassed, right? So like if you were to write a song that anybody else could write, the way I took it was you write a song that anybody else could write, it's kind of embarrassing to do that. All of their songs completely sound like them. I've said that like to like 7. I guess you know what the through line is.
They're worried about embarrassment.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I'm kidding. Hey, it's original.
Yeah, but I mean, Car Seat Headrest is probably.
You know what? I accept that explanation that they care about their songwriting.
They do. They're incredible. You just listen to the magic, and then Elliott Smith, Figure 8, last album before he died tragically. I mean, anybody who likes Elliott Smith loves him. No, he's a singer-songwriter. So he has some songs where he's playing just by himself. He has some songs where he's done most of the instrumentation. Absolutely incredible guitar player, incredibly skilled. He can like do chords that his fingers are like way the hell all over the place. We've listened to him before, but again, very very melancholy. I mean, when I listen to melancholy music, it usually like makes me feel happy about life. Like, isn't it nice that we can experience the sad stuff?
Right.
Happy stuff comes from it. Elliott Smith is incredible.
And Jason does live a good life. We all some people have seen that we all, as a family, we went to Ireland together, which was a blast. I miss it so much. But Jason, lucky guy that he is, he actually, after we got on the plane to head back to the States, Jason instead went to Italy for 2 weeks. Yeah, you want to talk about that a little?
It was great. I went to Italy. I ate good food. I drank wine. I met strangers. I lived a life that's not American. It
Right?
was great.
And you had got some culture in you while you worked out. Jason did work over
Probably,
there.
but I probably showed off my Americanness more than that. You know, I would have this thing where I would go, I was doing Duolingo, so I speak a little bit Italian, so I would order and be like, potrei avere il spaghetti or whatever the hell I was ordering. And
Okay.
then they would say a question back in Italian, assuming that I spoke the language, and I would pause for 2 seconds.
Mhm.
And then they would just say it in English because they're like, this fucking asshole's American.
Okay.
There wasn't that the tone. The people of Florence, you're very sweet.
Okay.
Milan people were rude though.
Yeah. Well, the people of Ireland were absolutely wonderful. So thank you for being good hosts to us. But anything else you want to talk about before I plug a couple of future episodes coming up?
Just my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis.
This guy. Gotta have him on more often. But in any event, so episodes that I have coming up, I'm gonna have so Davey Creighton was on with me about a month ago to basically we castigated these guys, and deservedly so, because they disappointed us yet again. Instead, we're going to talk about a favorite subject of mine. We're going to do the ranking the albums of Symphony X. That's going to record that Wednesday night, and probably be out in a couple night or two after that, but we'll see. Another one, I just did some traveling of my own after Ireland. I took the Amtrak down to from Lorton, Virginia, down to Sanford, Florida, which is near Orlando. Put my car on the auto train. From there, I drive the 3 hours down to Miami Gardens to go see the New York Giants face the Miami Dolphins. Who Giants sucked awful, but it was a fun trip. So I'm actually
Who's old?
What?
You said they sucked off old. Who's old?
Awful, awful.
Okay.
AWFUL. Good one, Jay. Jason used to be a stand-up comedian,
Oh,
by
it's
the way.
fucking hot in
Yeah.
here.
So we're gonna from that, I'm going to have an episode where I talk about my experience on the train versus my experience with flying recently, and the pros and cons of both. So stay tuned for that. This is Jack Toledano speaking for All or Nada, according to Jack. Thank you to my guest, Jason Toledano.
Thanks for making me.
Thanks for making me. Only Jason can say that. None of my other guests can joke that way.
Words, yeah.
All right.
Nice to meet you guys.
Have
You too, yeah.
Take it easy, everybody. See you soon. Bye.